The 2023 election may have come and gone, but the bitter ethnic and religious Cold War it left behind is still dominating the public space as the assessment of the electoral process continues. However, other issues, slightly different from politics, are beginning to take the center stage. One of them is the removal of fuel subsidy by deregulating the downstream. Notwithstanding, as the federal government prepares to completely deregulate the downstream sector of the Nigerian oil and gas industry in the coming months, stakeholders in the sector have told Nigerians to be ready to pay as much as 750 naira per litre of petrol at filling stations. This was a high point of stakeholders' interventions during an online workshop with the theme, Deregulation of the Nigerian Downstream Sector, the day after. This latest development is seen by political critics as an all-progressives Congress next level of change gift, despite opposing the same fuel subsidy removal in 2022, when President Goodluck Jonathan proposed its gradual removal. Joining us now from our Abuja studio is Honorable Musa Sarkin, Chairman, House Committee on Petroleum Upstream and member representing Goronyo-Gada Federal Constituency of Sokoto. Thank you very much for joining us, Honorable Musa Sarkin Adar. Well, I know in the previous edition of this program, you said your interest is upstream, but both are connected. After all, the Petroleum Industry Act created the authority, the upstream, midstream, authority to provide regulations for this sector. Now, the story out there is that whether we like it or not, this administration is committed to removing fuel subsidy by May 29. And I asked the question, I've raised the question, is there any guarantee, if there is any such thing, that the Tinubu administration would assume office on May 29 and it will immediately go ahead and say, we are removing fuel subsidy, which we've been told could take the pump price of PMS to 750 naira. Some people say 500 naira. Ipman says it won't be more than 500. Pengasan says, okay, depending on foreign exchange and how much NNPC brings in fuel, it will be around 400 naira. The average Nigerian says, even at 400 naira, that would be great punishment. Do you think that that should be, a decision that the next administration should just take as a fait accompli? When the same Buhari administration was talking about consequences and decided to delay the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act.
Good morning, Dr. Ruben Rufai. Good morning, Nigerians. I accept the near apology that we have made by clarifying that I'm in the upstream and I'm more interested in upstream matters. That's where I think I'm authoritative to say much things on. Notwithstanding, we are discussing Nigerian matter. I still wish to make an opening that I have prepared myself to come immediately after the elections to discuss the issues of the elections and the issues surrounding the elections and how to move Nigeria forward. I'm not particularly keen and interested to discuss issues that I have discussed almost 3 times here. Whatever I would say will amount to tautology. And I don't normally repeat what I said earlier. But I'm compelled to because I'm already on the screen. I can't turn away. Let me say this. It is not the Tinubu administration that will remove the oil subsidy when he is sworn in on 29th of May by the special grace of the Almighty God who have given him the power by winning the election of the 2023 presidential election. Why I've said this is an issue that had been lingering. You made a slip of tongue. You say when President Goodluck Jonathan in 2022, it was in around 2011 or 2012. when the issue started to crop up in this country. Whatever, it was Nigerians who rejected the fuel subsidy by then. You could remember the Save Nigeria, led by your own very Ezekwesi. She was among those that protested, and many Nigerians. I'm not singling out her. I can only remember seeing her face by then. Nigerians rejected the idea. It was an idea tabled by the Goodluck Jonathan administration then, and it was rejected. So now the Buhari administration came on. Because of seeing how Nigeria rejected it at that very time, the APC then campaigned that there will be no fuel subsidy removal immediately. Things come and go, and things happen gradual. The issue of oil subsidy is not a Nigerian factor. I have said it, and many experts have said it equally. It is a global factor. The fact that Nigeria have oil deposits, which we will explore and export to sell the crude, unfortunately, we do not have the means to refine it for our local consumption. The fuel subsidy rely heavily on the petroleum finished products. If we are refining in this country, there won't be issue of fuel subsidy because there would be nothing to subsidize. It will be sold based on what is refined, remove your cost of production plus minus, and make some little margin and move on with your business life. But in this circumstance, this is something that is essential to our lives. We can't survive without it because of the energy demand. Energy in various means and in various sectors. We have to import it. It is an unfortunate situation. And it is not the Buhari administration or the incoming Tinubu administration that is coming, that's the cause of it. It's the cause of the past administrations. Here we are with 4 gigantic refineries built in the military era of 1970s and early 80s. And until today, they are the only ones existing. As moribund as they are, much money has been budgeted in their turnaround maintenance by successive regimes. You can count on any regime from 1977 till date have allocated much amount of money meant for turning around of those refineries. Unfortunately, the desired result have not been achieved. So whoever come, he has no option other than to look at the means of how Nigerians could get petroleum, kerosene, diesel at affordable and easy to get. Now that the subsidy is still running, you want fuel with your money, you cannot get it. You have to buy a liter for 1,000 naira in some places. I come from an area that I've told you are agrarian people. Gada and Goran people are agrarian. It is not, it is undisputable or indisputable because they are engaged in irrigation of onion, garlic, which are we are the largest producers, and other perishable items. And the only source of water is by digging a hole, a well, or a local borehole, not motorized, whereby you have to pump it with your generating set, and you have to power it with petroleum. So our people are forced to buy, excuse me, sorry. Yesterday I told you I had cold, so I had sore throat, that's why I couldn't appear yesterday.
Oh, so sorry, so sorry.
Our people are compelled.
Do you feel better now? You want to have some water?
The petroleum, I think I'm getting better.
Okay.
I can go ahead.
Okay, because we could take some time for you to get better. Yeah. Because we could actually give you some time.
Better, I think, by the distribution of God. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah.
I said our people are agrarian. They are engaged in cultivating garlic and onion and other perishable items. As such, they use local wells and local boreholes, which they use generating set to power, to irrigate their farms. At this very particular moment, most of them are available at very exorbitant price. They cannot even get it. They have to travel many kilometers 30, 40 kilometers to go and buy a liter or two to come back to their farms because there's no availability of fuel within the area. So in this circumstance, you can't imagine whatever price somebody is asked to, because somebody has invested all he had, his energy and his means in the farm, and it is about to harvest, and he has to continue to power it for the next 2-3 weeks. No matter the cost, he has to buy. Equally, the same thing happens to the motorists, both the commuters and the transport owners.
Okay.
And even the elites, like you and I.
Okay.
Let me finish, sir. So in this circumstance, here we have a situation which has become an incurable problem over the period of time for about 4 decades. So if the solution is only to remove the subsidy, this subsidy, the issue has been said, many people have said, many inquiries committees have been set up by the National Assembly and the executive as well, that some people are feeding fat on it.
Okay.
I would love to see when those people that have fed part on it are brought to book, investigated properly, prosecuted, and jailed if possible.
Okay.
So if
Honorable Sarkin,
the new incoming government comes,
Honorable Sarkin, I have to come
the issue before the National Assembly and before the public.
Okay, Honorable Sarkin.
It's not that you just make a pronouncement. Making a pronouncement will not solve the situation, will not solve the problem. What we are looking at, what will solve the problem permanently at ease for the citizen of this country.
Okay, Honorable Sarkin Hadi, I have to come in here. So you made a couple of mistakes, and let's set the record straight. Obi Ezekwesili did not participate. In fact, you owe her an apology in that subsidy protest because she was VP at World Bank then, and her face was not seen in that protest. That I remember that protest very well. So you owe her an apology for mentioning her name. Most of the people that supported that kicked against the subsidy removal then were people in your party. Largely people as pushed by what was APC, the likes of Save Nigeria Group, Pastor Tunde Bakare, and a couple of other people. So it was largely supported by people in the APC then. In fact, that was the first assault against President Goodluck Jonathan's government then. So, but you owe Madam Obi Ezekwesili an apology because she was not around in the country then. That's number one. Number two, I'd like to ask you, yes, you deal in upstream and all of that. You've talked...
I withdrew that statement.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for withdrawing the statement. So you deal in upstream and all of this. But I would like to ask you further, because now we are hearing contending voices. A couple of months ago, the NNPC said, if we remove subsidy, it will be at a certain amount, less than 500 naira, that the true amount will be. Now, a coalition of stakeholders in the private sector are talking about 750. The question will be, how can we meet each other halfway in such a way that we can start to think of the palliatives and remove subsidy rather than kicking it down the road? I would like to refresh your memory. We've had the problem of subsidy since 1973 when we had the Yom Kippur War. As at 85, 86, 87, 88, there was a recurring talk about subsidy removal. So it's not a problem that is on ground now. But we keep kicking it down the road. And that's why a lot of people say, what changed in your arguments with the APC in 2012? Because a lot of economic watchers argue that 2012 will have been the best time as regards empirical economic conditions to be able to pull out the subsidy then. Because the price increase we're running away from then, we still finally faced it in terms of increase. So what would be the way forward on this so that we don't kick the can down the road again? Because everybody is kicking already. The labor unions are saying if they pull it out without fixing refinery, we will fight. What is the way forward?
Okay. Let me answer you this way. When I was trying to buttress my points, you cut me short. Now I have an opportunity to complete what I started saying. You wouldn't have even asked this question. And when you interjected me and corrected me that Ezekwesili was then not in Nigeria, she was on the World Bank, I withdraw that statement. It was a crowd. So when I saw somebody appeared like her, I thought she was the one. In any case, I withdrawn it. Whatever it is, it was combination of concerned Nigerians and high-profile people. You mentioned one, Tunde Bakare, who was one time a presidential, vice presidential candidate and a very respected pastor in the church. So if people like him could be in that protest, I believe it must be genuine, sincere, and should be applauded, and it must be respected. He is in the same category of people that are respected, together with Equeslezi and many others, including your humble self. The issue of subsidy is not something that you will just walk off one day. We are not in a military era. We are in a democratic system and a democratic regime, whereby everything will be processed within the rules and within the extant laws. I even expected the current government of President Muhammadu Buhari to be patriotic enough to remove the oil subsidy before it finishes its next 61 days. That will help greatly. Whoever is trying to politicize the issue of fuel subsidy or waiting to ambush President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he comes, he is just wasting his time. Don't waste your time, please. Let's talk of things that will unite this country. Let's talk on issues that will move this country fast. This man came with a vision. He came with consolidated plans that will develop this country, not issues that will divide us. Fuel subsidy is one over many problems that we are having, and he's going to inherit. I have very good confidence in him and people around him. That thing will be solved in a manner that is desired, and the desired result will be achieved. On the issue of parity of prices, these are opinions given by the operators, the NNPC, who bought in oil or fuel and sells to the marketers. And the marketers and other stakeholders are saying the price should be higher than what the NNPC is proposing. NNPC might be proposing this based on they know how much they bought it from there and how it arrives here. Then they are thinking when they give it out to them, plus minus, they again profit margin, it should not be more than 500 naira. So if those people say no, it has to be about 700 naira, then we have to look at it critically. Are they trying to profit racketeering even before it arrives? The answer should be no. Everybody should be patriotic, and everybody should be honest and sympathize with Nigerians. And the whole issue is not matter of 700 naira. It's the devaluation of naira that we're having. I was in Morocco a couple of weeks ago. They are selling fuel for about $1.50. $1.50 at equivalent rate of Nigerian naira, that is about 1,000 plus. Because at 740 naira per dollar in the black market, which we buy, and another 360 naira is about 1,111 naira.
Honorable
so
Sarkin Adar.
At 500 naira, I think, well, sorry, sir, let me please.
We're
at
trying to manage
naira,
time. If we could just summarize.
I will feel, whatever we're trying to manage, let me clarify. We're trying to educate Nigerians to understand what is coming for them. We are part of them. I feel bad. The people in my locality are buying fuel at 500 or above naira, because when they come to sell their onion to you, if they say a measure of onion, which is now selling for about 500 naira, if they say they'll sell it 1,000 naira, you will protest. And if you don't buy it, it's something perishable. Within 3 days, they get lost. It gets lost, and they are in the loss, and they'll be out of business. Then, God forbid, most of the youth will migrate to the cities doing perennial jobs and menial businesses, which I don't want to happen. So, by the time the new government come in, like I've said, I wish the sitting government will remove the old system before it goes. That will be the parting gift it could do to Nigerians and to the incoming government. Okay. And as I said, when they come, it's a tripartite issue. The government will sit down, I believe, with Nigerian stakeholders in the market, the NNPC, everybody, and say, what is the way forward? What is the solution? They will bring recommendations. All these recommendations that are being proposed now will be tabled to them, and they'll look at it critically. They are people of integrity, and they are people who have the concern of the masses at their heart. And I'm sure they have also experts within their fold.
Honorable
who will
Sarkin
come
Adar.
and advise in the right direction
Honorable
and do
Sarkin
it
Adar.
the right way.
We have a responsibility to structure
Yes, sir.
conversations on this program. So when we tell you, please wrap up, you should do so. Please, it's very important. That's the code.
Ayopayo was here. I saw how he did.
Yes.
You didn't stop him.
Okay, just
Is
wait.
it because I am Musa?
No.
Ayopayo was here. I saw
No, please.
Go ahead.
Once you are in the public space,
you have the gavel.
Just follow the rules. I was going to ask you. One, it's no
I
longer
am a lawmaker. I follow the rules.
it's no longer fashionable to blame previous governments. Nigerians elect new governments so that they can solve problems. And I hope when the Tinubu administration takes over, that rhetoric coming from your party will not continue, because it will be interesting to see you say, oh, previous governments did not do it. Would that include the APC government? That's one. Two,
I assure you it will not happen.
Please hold on.
It will not.
For Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, removal of subsidy is even a campaign promise. He said fuel subsidy is pro-poor, and that is one of the things he will do. He will remove fuel subsidy, and he will also check estimated billing of electricity consumption. But let's go back to your constituency, Goron Yogada federal constituency. I have not followed the politics there very closely. But our market, are you going back to the House of Reps, or there are uncertainties about your own plan to return to the House of Reps? Briefly, so that we can go.
Before I came in here, one of your producers asked me to come and discuss the issue of the forthcoming run election. I told him I'm a party to it. I don't want to preempt the process, so I am not eligible to discuss it. If I do that, I think it's not fair. Please, kindly allow me not to talk on that issue.
But what's the state of play? What's the state of play
for the whole
at the
National
moment?
Assembly?
What's the state of play at the moment?
What is what?
What is the situation now with the election?
All National Assembly elections, all National Assembly elections in Sokoto State have been put on hold. It's inconclusive. I am not ready to discuss it here until after the outcome. Whatever way it goes, you can invite me, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Musa Sarkin Adar, for joining us on The Morning Show.